On this day in 1976, Celtic twice came from 2 goals behind to beat Hearts 4-3 at Tynecastle. Celtic were in 4th place in the league after 9 matches when they travelled to Tynecastle on the 20th of November 1976, 5 points behind leaders Dundee United, who had played 2 games more. In midweek, Scotland had beaten Wales 1-0 at Hampden in a World Cup qualifier in which Danny McGrain had turned in an incredible performance. Jim Blair wrote in the Evening Times the following day, "He must be the best fullback in Europe." His colleague David Stirling finished his own report in that day's edition. Scotland's players can now get back to domestic business, Willie Ormond can settle down with a deserved new contract, and Danny McGrain is magic. Wearing black armbands as a mark of respect for Jimmy Gribbin, the man who brought Jock Stein to Celtic in 1951 and who had died at the age of 81 in the week, Celtic lined up Latchford, McGrain, Lynch, Stanton, MacDonald, Aitken, Doyle, Glavin, Craig, Dalglish, Lennox, subs, Wilson, P. McCluskey. Hearts were third bottom of the league with only 1 win from 10 games, although they had drawn 7 and were only 2 points behind Celtic. They started in whirlwind fashion and were 2 ahead before Celtic had their boots on. Willie Gibson opened the scoring, racing onto a through ball from Drew Busby to lob the ball over Peter Latchford as he raced out to narrow the angle. 2 minutes later, Gibson had a second, although he didn't know too much about it, as Donald Park's low shot from 25 yards struck him and diverted the ball out of Latchford's despairing reach. Celtic pulled one back on 21 minutes when Danny McGrain's free kick from the right flank was headed on by Kenny Dalglish and Rodney MacDonald out-jumped the defence to head it in. Hearts' third goal came from the best passage of play in the match. A flowing move from the edge of their own box and a long cross from the right headed back across the box for Gibson to complete his hat-trick with a tap-in at the back post. Celtic dragged themselves back into it again 3 minutes later when Hearts keeper Brian Wilson failed to hold a shot from Bobby Lennox. Dalglish was first to the rebound, but it hit the keeper again before Lennox followed up to fire it home. With Hearts 3-2 ahead going into the second half, Danny McGrain, who was having another outstanding match, created the equaliser on the hour mark. Mike Aitken reported in The Scotsman of the 22nd of November 1976, "With body movements worthy of Jimmy Johnston, he must have sold Kay 3 dummies before taking the ball to the byline. He cut it back to Dick Champion, saviour of the side, Kay Dalglish to you, and with all the time in the world, the Celtic captain placed his shot past 2 Hearts defenders." Celtic pummeled Hearts for the next half hour, but it looked like they would have to settle for a draw. Then in the 88th minute, as Hearts struggled to clear their lines, a fierce Dalglish shot from a tight angle on the right was blocked by the keeper, the ball spinning high into the air. After a failed attempt by the defenders on the line to clear it, Ronnie Glavin volleyed it in with an acrobatic hitch kick from just under the crossbar. The win took Celtic into third place above Rangers, who drew 1-1 with Hibernian on goal difference. 4 days later, a spectacular Joe Craig goal at Ibrox sent them into second place, only 2 behind Dundee United and with a game in hand as they headed towards a League and Scottish Cup double.